Greetings from the Stogie Palace. This is your buddy Chris, smoking a fine Rocky Patel Sun-Grown. I want to talk a little bit today about meeting celebrities through aviation. Come on, lights, turn back on. There we go. So, as I may have mentioned in the trailer, which is mandatory for you to watch before... Oh wait, you must watch the trailer before watching videos on this channel. I'll put a link up right over here. Anyway, I was a pilot. I still have a license, it never expires. I'm an air traffic controller. And I've talked to a few celebrities in my day. I've met one, so let's talk a little bit about it. In aviation, it used to be this way, not so much anymore, but you know how you have vanity plates for your car? Well, for a long time there, these pilots would have almost vanity call signs for their airplanes. You could tell who it was. They would sometimes have their initials in the call sign. Such was the case this one day when I talked to John Travolta. He was flying his 707 or his Gulfstream, one of the other, I think it was a 707. And I had just got done listening to the audiobook of Battlefield Earth, which is better than the movie. Sorry, John, but you know the movie was kind of a stinker. But it wasn't bad for us that had read or the book, or in my case, listened to the audiobook. I think Roddy McDowell did the audio on that one. It's old, long time ago. Anyway, I heard a rumor that there was going to be a movie made out of it, that he was going to fund it. So one day, he's flying through the airspace, and he's going to Montreal, which is where I heard the filming was. So I asked the pilot if the boss was on board. That would be John Travolta. Sure enough, he comes on. And so I just came right out and asked him on the frequency. I go, so is it true that you're making Battlefield Earth? And his voice is pretty unmistakable. He goes, I can neither confirm nor deny that rumor. And that was that. So that was kind of cool. And I know that I've worked other celebrities. A lot of times they don't make it well known, but you can tell by the voice. And you hear rumors that they actually fly their own airplane. Wayne Newton was one that we talked to a lot when I worked the Las Vegas airspace. And I know I probably talked to Patrick Swayze and Kurt Russell and Harrison Ford, mainly because of the nature of my airspace and where they like to fly into, where they live, stuff like that. And I know they're all, well, in one case, former, late Patrick Swayze, but they're all pilots and they fly quite a bit themselves. They're proud of it. And, but one in particular happened before I was a controller. I was a pilot, but I was working the flight line at Long Beach, California. And all of a sudden, all these movie trucks and trailers start pulling up and setting up, and apparently they got approval from somebody, but it was all on our, they're taking up a lot of our space, and it was for a movie called Commando. This is 1985. Then I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger go, cool, fan, great guy, always with a cigar in his mouth, and I don't mean in pictures, see, I mean at the shoot. Constantly had that cigar in his mouth, driving his Cherokee with his weightlifting buddy, who you've seen in movies before. His buddy is this big buff guy. I don't know if he was a trainer of his at the time, but he's been in some of his movies, like I think Running Man was one of them. And you know, also at that shoot was the co-star of that movie, which was Rae Dawn Chong. Do you remember her? If you've seen the movie Commando, you've seen her. She's the co-star in that movie. She's Tommy Chong's daughter of Cheech and Chong, and her early claim to fame was Quest for Fire, which I hadn't seen at the time that I met her, and we didn't talk very much. She kind of, I think she overheard some of the other guys working about Quest for Fire, and I guess she had a pretty raunchy sex scene in it, where it's just like this going at it like animals. But she was pretty quiet. She was, her personal assistant was her mom, if I'm not mistaken. But Arnold wasn't as big of a deal then as he would become. At that time, he'd only made the 2 Conan movies, Terminator, of course, Red Sonja, which was kind of a dud, Then came Commando. Right after that was Raw Deal, which was another kind of a dud. Then the big movies came out. Then he became governor. But anyway, like I said, this was filmed at Long Beach Airport. And if you watch the movie, if you get to the part where they're at some South American, supposedly, or Central American airport with it's all smoky and there's animals, and they did a good job. That was at Long Beach Airport in California. You wouldn't know it. The phone booth that the black guy goes into to alert the guy back at the island or something about the fact that Arnold's character wasn't on the plane. Those phone booths were fake. I met that actor, that black one where Arnold snaps his neck in the airplane. met him. Got a picture with him. Or my then girlfriend, which is my wife, got a picture with him after the neck breaking where he's all bloody and looks like death. So anyway, I was in charge of letting people in and out of the ramp area because even back then, 30 years ago, you just couldn't walk around the airport willy-nilly. And so I had to let him in all the time. And a couple times I caught him out there walking on the ramp, checking out airplanes. And I'm never intimidated by people, pretty much anybody, even people I look up to, even idols of mine, but especially not entertainers. No offense. I just treat them just like everybody else. And I've met a few. And in his case, I was joking around with him because I go, you know, you really can't be here. He's walking up and down the flight line, checking out planes. These airplanes were not expensive jets by any means. They were little prop jobs worth $40,000, $50,000. And, you know, he would ask me, how much is this one? And I go, you can't afford that. And of course, he would start laughing at me. Even then, he probably could have afforded a whole fleet of them, but I was just busting his chops. I had to keep shooing him off the flight line. The owners probably wouldn't have appreciated it if people were walking up and down by their airplanes. But anyway, then, you know, he won't take a picture with me. I keep bugging, hey, how about a picture? No, can't do it, can't do it. Well, one day I was at the gate, and I go, yeah, you are. And I stood by him to act like I'm letting him in, and my buddy was hiding behind me and took a picture of me and letting him in the gate in his little old Cherokee. It was nothing special, I'll tell you that. But then he goes and my girlfriend goes up to him and says, hey, how about a picture or an autograph, something like that. And he brings her into his trailer. What's up with that? And I forgot what he said, some kind of a snappy comment to her. I can't remember what it was. But sure enough, she goes into his trailer and she gets an autographed picture of Arnold. If I find it, I'll post it up here. And it's like, what's the deal with that? Another cool thing about the filming of that was they worked all day on this one shot that takes up about 5 seconds on the film, and it's not even, didn't even end up the way that they intended. If you remember back when he's supposedly jumping out of that DC-10, it's an old Western DC-10. They shot that also at Long Beach Airport. By the way, shameless plug here. I'm drinking some Adam Carolla Mangria tonight with my cigar. So, this DC-10 keeps flying over and over and over, and they literally are dropping a dummy out of the wheel well area. How they're doing it, I don't really know. But, and it looks terrible. Arms flailing all over the place. It doesn't look natural at all. And they try this over and over and over. And if you look at the end product of the movie, what they end up doing was they used some really cheesy animation and hand drew in there a stick figure falling from the airplane. It sure wasn't the dummy we saw, unless they went and filmed it somewhere else, which I doubt. Flying around a DC-10 like that repeatedly gets expensive. After they're done playing with that scene, a lot of the crew and all the actors got in that DC-10 and flew away. Where they went was LAX. where they filmed some more scenes, which is where you see him running around the terminal and running out onto the taxiway and the runway, and the way he gets into that wheel well and then gets up into the baggage area and into the airplane. Come on. But they came back later at night and they did some night shots, and they were going places I'm pretty sure they didn't have clearance to go. They were going into these old beat up buildings, and you'll see that in the movie too, where it's dark and they're opening some windows and going in. And I recall, granted it's 30 years ago, that's a lifetime ago, I recall somebody kind of calling them on it, saying, you just can't go wherever you want and film. One cool thing they left behind, they didn't take these with them. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if I lost them or somebody else took them. But they had to come in there early on and take a lot of pictures to set up the scenes. And one of the scenes was the landing gear of the DC-10 and somebody standing by it to get an idea of how the shot would frame, and it was kind of cool. But anyway, that's about the coolest thing aviation as far as meeting celebrities I can talk about anymore, especially since 9/11. Celebrities or anybody else for that matter, including like Ford owners, remember that when they went to DC? And most of these people stay pretty cloaked now for security reasons. Probably not a bad idea either. And also, since 9/11, people aren't quite as chatty as they used to be on frequency. Kind of a shame, because it's good to be all on the same team and have a good relationship between pilots and controllers, but it's not there like it used to be. They're constantly pulling tapes and by the book, nothing else. Any external chatter beyond the basics, not good. Oh well. That's the way it goes. So that's the story for today, boys and girls. Aviation based, because I've been in aviation for a long time, over 30 years. And that's my career currently. Much soon to be replaced by the career of YouTube superstar. I guess I need to turn my ads on to make that happen, but I'm not going to. So anyway, thanks for watching. This is Chris at the Stogie Palace. We will see you later.